Hey, my name is Sasha and today we're talking about clichés. So this week on my first year on T, the topic is misconceptions and stereotypes about trans people. There are a lot of them. A lot. So instead of making a 30 minutes long video, I've decided to focus on three main points. The first one is the idea that being trans is a choice. This is an argument that actually comes from both transphobes and allies sometimes. Transphobic people like to say things such as, "Oh, this is so unnatural, why would you make this choice, why would you choose to do this to your body?" And allies who actually mean well sometimes say things like, "Oh, you're so brave, I really admire you, I could never make that choice for myself." As if we woke up one morning and decided that, hey, being cis is boring, I'm gonna be trans from now on. Being trans is not a choice, it's just who we are. The only thing we actually choose is if we want to change our bodies and take HRT, have surgery, etc. And that leads me to my second point, which is that all trans people medically transition and that all trans people medically transition in the same way. Cis people are kind of obsessed with the surgery, as if all trans people, as soon as they come out, are gonna go through a magic surgery that's gonna make us cis. Most of the time they are referring to sex reassignment surgery, and it honestly makes me laugh that the first thing they think about is genitals, whereas bottom surgery is usually the last thing trans masc people at least, think about. The typical, if I can say that, trans masc medical transition is first taking hormones, then top surgery, and then possibly bottom surgery and maybe more stuff. But not everyone chooses to do that. Some people can decide to have top surgery before starting T. Some people can decide to never have top surgery because they don't feel dysphoric about their chest. I mean, it really depends. And while the majority of trans masc people do decide to go on hormones, the fact that I am on T doesn't make me any more trans than another trans guy who doesn't want to go on T. And you know, a trans guy who's had top surgery, a hysterectomy, and phalloplasty isn't any more trans than I am. He's just different, and that's what cis people and even some trans people have to understand, I think. You can't just put a label on us that says trans, take us, put us in a big box that says trans people, and decide, hey, they're all trans, then they're all the same, they're all gonna have the same bodies. That's not how it works. And the same thing, of course, is true for trans women and trans feminine people. I just can't really talk about that because I have no experience of that. And the last thing I'd like to talk about is trans people and sexuality / romantic life. For trans women, I feel like cis people think that all trans women are straight. I mean, in the media you really rarely see trans women at all, but it's even more rare to find lesbian trans women, except in Sense8. And yeah, I feel like trans women are always portrayed as an object for cis men to fetishize, and that's an incredibly harmful and dangerous stereotype, because a lot of trans women, especially trans women of color, end up murdered by men they had sexual relationships with. And as for trans men, honestly, I feel like nobody ever talks about our sexuality. It kind of feels like cis people think no one will ever want us because we're guys but we don't have dicks. So obviously we are worth nothing, and gay men can't be attracted to us, and straight women can't be attracted to us either. And honestly, that is something that messes with me a lot. I feel like I have a lot of internalized transphobia after years of being fed the same cis-normative bullshit, and after seeing how a lot of cis people perceive us, and most of the time I still feel like I'm undesirable, like no one will ever love me just because I'm trans and non-binary. And that's bullshit, honestly. Because fuck, your genitals aren't everything. And I know that a ton of gay men or bi men or straight women or bi women or other non-binary people would date me and other trans people, so I'm trying to get that negativity out of my head. But yeah, those were the main three misconceptions I wanted to talk about. Being trans is not a choice, not all trans people transition in the same way, and trans people are not gonna be forever alone just because they're trans. Yeah, that's it for me today. I might be able to post a video next week, but I can't promise anything. And if I don't post next week, you'll only see my face in like 3 weeks or 1 month when I get back from holiday in Ireland. Yeah, so have a nice summer. I love you all and see you next time. Bye!